Hello and welcome back to Asagao Academy. Won't stop until hidden block drops. Yeah. So let's try this again. I now have a guide with me, which I'm going to follow. And I'm going to see... my preferences are only scene messages, so when there's new dialogue for me to read, it will stop. The first thing we have to say is... Oh, I'll do this. Okay. What would my duties be? Do 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 do. Talk platforms.
Yeah.
Paul's eyes glittered. I knew you'd see it my way. I didn't like being put on the spot like that. Whoops. Oh, I need to not acknowledge those rumors. Okay then. Never mind. I would say, yes, address the problem. Because it's a problem. I need to talk about problems. Anyway. It was either going to make it really awkward or make him feel bad. There wasn't anything he could do to stop it, short of not speaking to me anymore, or outright proclaiming it in some form of media. I wasn't sure I really wanted that. Maybe for now at least I could enjoy it. It was a fantasy after all. A silly fantasy, but a fantasy nonetheless. Paul leaned towards me again.
Hey.
Are you sure you're okay? Yes, I'm fine. Jeez, you'd think I was dying or something, the way you worry. I can't help it. I feel responsible for you, for some reason. Yeah, well, don't. Even though I want you to, don't. I shook my head. Poppy Hall rose in front of us, tall and imposing in a Georgian feel to its architecture. And then we skip again. Aw, these boasters. Jeff! Fuck you! What did I think I had the right answer there. The answer was... That's not what I want. Do 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 do. Publish an article. Let it be. No, I don't think we should. Oh, that was it? I hope you at least learn how to stand your ground with those guys. I know they're not doing it on purpose, but you shouldn't take that kind of treatment just because they don't mean it. Okay. Seeing the look on my face, my turn back to your toenails. No matter how I protested, I kept on skipping dialogue. Keep practicing. Grudging sigh escaping me. Look, Paul, I'm sorry, it's just really frustrating. I don't feel like you're listening to me at all. Paul turned around, shaking his head. It's not that I'm not listening to you. It's that I'm listening to what you're really saying. You have a drive. You have drive, ambition, talent. I don't know why you're insisting on a life of inadequacy. Are you scared of something? I stared at him, unsure whether I was more angry about his arrogance and presuming he knew about me, or the fact that what he might have had a grain of truth to it. Damn it, that sounded stupid. No, Hana, be nice, don't be mean. I took a deep breath, then looked at him. Let's write a script. If there's a script, I might be able to make it out of the interview in one piece. But can't you just compromise with me on just this one thing? Fine, script it is. I pulled out a notebook and Paul went to the chalkboard and started drafting ideas for what he wanted to cover. This way, Paul would answer all the unexpected questions and could give standard responses to questions as needed. It wasn't a perfect system. I was sure I would stutter or forget an answer somewhere, but it was better than nothing, better than arguing. Paul suggested topics, and I gave feedback on what I thought appropriate. In no time, we had a list of real topics, another list of goofy inside jokes we made up. It was weird. When things were like this, we got along so well. Why couldn't it be like this all the time? That day at lunch, Paul could not stop telling everyone about the skip we'd come up with together. He was ecstatic. As the others nodded and committed my idea, I felt for the first time that I was actually contributing something to the group. Nick, however, wasn't too enthusiastic. When I shot him a questioning look, he shrugged, but he refused to say anything. Whatever was bothering him, it seemed keeping the peace was more important. I could start skipping again. Perhaps you need a bit of introduction on what it means to live a continued lifestyle. I don't think that's necessary. Of course it is. How long have you spent living this shy, quiet life of yours? It's been 2 years. That was a rhetorical question, but I'm impressed by your quick answer. Looks like Paul's lessons are paying off. At the back wall, there was nowhere for me to go. You know, this is going to look terrible if somebody walks in on us. So, essentially, we should not have made that article, even though it did help him out with his campaign. Maybe the problem was that the voters weren't exactly the voters aren't the people who want him to be relatable. Maybe that's the issue. We were just like, I was aiming for like relatability, while Paul's strategy itself was just like more better for the people who actually voted. Don't worry. No one will. I crouched to the floor, whimpering. The last thing I remember was their hands reaching for me, a quiet cry escaping my lips. Help! You can... Okay, so what happened is now she's part of the improv class. You can do it, Hana girl. Now at the apple. I sat on the teacher's desk, my shoes tracking the stains all over his notes, pineapples in either hand. An apple was placed onto my forehead, and the three boys skipped giddily to the back of the room. Save me, someone! Yeah. You're perfectly safe. Pencils don't hurt that bad if they miss, and we won't graduate to scissors until we've gotten really good. Doesn't it feel good to take risks? Doesn't it feel good to live? Oh, my phone. I hate you all. This is pretty funny. One thing was for sure, life with the Continue Boys was always interesting. This will definitely go a bit different. This is interesting because there's like actions that cause widely different consequences. And that's pretty cool. Like most of the choices seem kind of inconsequential, aside from like the ending that would change. But in this route, oh no problem. In this route, it seems to have like actual impact on how the story progresses, which is really cool. It also causes this last part to be a bit longer, but you know, you forgot this stream was happening. No problem. Maybe. PPG and John started asking all the standard questions about Paul's campaign. Why was he running? What was his platform? What did he get done last year? Paul winked at me as the question started, and I asked for him, hesitantly at first, but gaining confidence over time. PPG and John were good, kind hosts, neither of them keen on exploiting their friends for increased viewership. Because of that, even when I said something that sounded a bit like it could be taken the wrong way, PPG had me clarify, and John told jokes to lighten up the fairly boring conversation. Paul patted me gently on the back so as not to be heard over the microphone and beamed with pride. Maybe he had a point. Maybe it wasn't as bad as public. Maybe I wasn't as bad at public speaking as I thought. Well, that was enlightening. Thank you for that. Okay. Our first caller, Kate, you're on. Right, so this first question is for Hannah. Why is your hair all pink and whatever? Like, what are you trying to do? Dark guy. I mean, Deathmark? Dark guy. Oh no. There's no. Doesn't ring a bell. Sorry for the person who is now definitely offended by the fact that I forgot their name. I'm very sorry. I don't know. I'm sorry. Oh, you mean Killer Rosabud, maybe? Yeah, he still comes around sometimes. Or no, there was someone else. There was. I'll. Um. I'm looking at my profile. Oh, that's gonna take a little while. Followers. There's Dark Adversary, but I don't think that's the one you mean. He should be here somewhere. I do remember him now. There's Darkheart64. That's the guy. Adrenaline pumped through my veins, so completely taken off guard I was, but Paul hastily leaned into the microphone and answered for me. Yeah. It's all natural. She was born that way, baby. Nice. Same time. Good timing. You missed that guy. Oh, he sometimes pops up. Is it even possible? Apparently so, and Hana's here to prove it. Thanks for your question. I shot Paul a grateful smile, and he sat back proud. A slow, drawling voice crawled over the line next, and I knew instantly who it was. So, what does Paul think he has over Jeff that gives him a competitive edge? Paul shot forward immediately.
Well,
First of all, I don't run smear campaigns. I run my campaign honestly, with clear communication to the people I intend to serve. Secondly, this year will mark my second year as a president, and I'll finally be able to implement the plans I was working on all last year. Without the second year, that year is basically wasted. So you're wasted your first year in office, and we want people to elect you because you promise this time it will be different. Paul bit his lip. He'd fallen into exactly the trap he tried to keep me out of. Legislation is complicated and it took a while for it all to get through, but you'll see the effects of these changes this year if Paul gets elected. Paul shot me a brief thumbs up, and then Ian countered.
really?
And Jeff can't make good on the legislation? Why? Both Paul and I froze. I glanced at him. I didn't even know whether it was possible for Jeff to do such a thing, but judging by the look on Paul's face, it was. Well, only I know of all the changes I meant to put in place, so a few could fall through the cracks. And if you aren't elected, you of course won't tell Jeff what your plans were because you are rivals and you don't actually want the best for the school. Hot. Damn. Ian was a lean, mean, rhetoric spouting machine. Seeing our struck faces, John grabbed the microphone. Sorry, buddy, you've been hugging the line. Did I say hugging? Sorry, buddy, but you've been hogging the line. We'll have to take the next caller. For the next hour, the majority of the calls were full of inane questions. Little things like Paul's favorite color or the funniest thing that ever happened to continue in public. The answers were interesting, and judging from the laughter they inspired, I felt like the interview could still be a net win for us, a way to show the world Paul's true personality firsthand. Despite all of this seriousness and intense passion, he was a fun and mischievous guy, and a rather lighthearted when it didn't involve the campaign. The more the student body saw that side of him, the more successful we would be. I truly thought that, at least until the last question came. And we're all about to wrap up, but we just have enough time for one last quick question.
What's up?
So, caller 68, you're on the line. Yes, hi. I would like to know, is it true that Hana and Paul are dating?
What?
What? I burst out immediately, then clamped a hand over my mouth, but it was too late. Mimi was cackling on the end of the line. Miss Mizuno and I are just friends. We have a purely platonic relationship. Isn't that right, Hana? I think I can skip from this point on. Okay. I thought the script would change some more about that sequence, but it was still really cool. Bye, Kakuzu. Okay. Now I have to say, leave it alone. I shook my head. Things were finally starting to go better with Paul and me. I wasn't about to put that in a campaign in jeopardy just because I was mad. With all the self-control I could muster, I followed Mai to the normal Boots Club table and a smiling Paul. And I can skip again. Oh my gosh, it's him! Doo-doo. Their quick little date. And honesty then. But how does honesty work? What? Can you lie without speaking? Blah 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 blah. Click click. Oh, that's pretty cute. The photo thing. Sorry. Bye. I hate boys. Yeah. Fuck you, Paul. I said I'm in a potential mix of shock and disgust. This is what you call doing me a favor? This is how you protect your campaign manager from harm? Yes? What's wrong? I let out a harsh laugh. What is wrong? I can't believe this! Hana. I stalked back into the cafeteria, Paul trailing me like a duckling following its mama. But Hana, that's not what I'm doing. You know that's not what I'm doing, right? I grabbed my bag and took my tray to throw it out. Hana! Explaining nothing, I fled the cafeteria, heading I knew not where. As long as it was far, far away from Paul, I would be happy. Another dating thingy. And now what I have to do is say, over my dead body. That was the good answer. Oh my god. No, not 12-hour stream. Of course. That's a little. If it's a 12-hour stream, I will announce it. Paul stepped closer to me, giving me puppy dog eyes. No? No. He sniffed. Not even for the betterment of Asagao?
No!
Not even! Not even for a big warm hug?
No!
Not even! Paul kicked the floor off the classroom, hands in his pockets. Well, if Hana says we can't do it, I guess we just won't do it. He sighed dramatically. Nick and Josh clucked, shaking their heads. Don't make me the bad guy! I'm not the one trying to sell students to other students! Not students, time. Time. But it's fine, I get it. I understand the qualms. I'll just go back to the drawing board. And Paul physically started moving towards the chalkboard at the front of the room. I'm going to go mad. Fine, fine, I'll do it!
Hana!
Hana! Paul pulled me into a hug. Nick and Josh balked, and I flushed. Alright, sorry, professional distance. Yeah. But I know. Okay. That's almost a good sentence. You mean you get it and you now know. Okay. Paul pulled away. I took 3 steps back from him. Then I'll get going. We'll just have this Friday. That gives me all next week to work on my speech. I'll prepare for the tournament, right?
Mamma mia!
Oh man, that's the day after, isn't it? Mamma mia! What's a date, boys, for charity? And then she, yeah. No dice. Okay. The little date. The choice is you pick. I was not in the mood for picking sides. Not today. Not right before the election. Not right before the tournament. Mexican it is then. Nick scowled, but for once he didn't seem like he wanted to tussle with Josh. Instead, Josh let us inside a colorful restaurant, the interior walls set up like a Spanish mesa. The waitress greeted Josh warmly and, with an eyebrow raised at Nick and me, led us to a secluded table hidden from the windows. This is my usual spot. No doubt they're surprised you brought actual people with you this time. Actually, yes. The waitress got our drink orders and was about to leave when Nick tapped her elbow. Maybe please get some candles? She raised an eyebrow, but nodded. The customer was always right. Josh shot Nick a glare. then cleared his throat. Tell me more about this, Dad. Oops, guns. Took a slow, deep breath. I'm going to pretend I didn't see anything, okay?
Really?
Really? In the meantime, you're going to toss those somewhere safe, preferably the Pacific Ocean, and if I ever see them again, you're going to be in such hot water you won't even feel your skin peeling off. Got it? That's bloody graphic, Hana. Got it? Right. I got it.
Farewell.
Thanks again, Hana. You won't regret. You won't regret. Damn it. You won't regret this. I nodded happily. Caddy wouldn't harm a fly on a person's head. I had no doubts about that, even if those guns glinting in the lamplight were the scariest thing I had ever seen. I hoped my faith wouldn't go unfulfilled. As I reached the fort between Primrose and Bluebell, I heard another rustling somewhere behind me and whirled around. I just had a son hankering for a burrito, that's all. Will his speech be different? No, his speech is the same. Okay, almost at the finale. The three nodded grimly. For all we knew, the result of the tournament depended on this. Josh and Paul stretched themselves out and assumed their strategic locations behind Nick. 3, 2, 1, start! I had no idea why I had to shout for the match to start because the pair simply selected their characters. But one way or another, the battle commenced. Nick and Wally were well matched in the beginning, each taking small hits and attempting combos that the other immediately deflected. It was a tense battle, both hunched frustratingly close at the screens. I almost couldn't make anything out. Tag! Josh! Nick spun with a flourish away from the machine, and Josh leaped in, dealing a several-hit combo on Waleed, who was unprepared for the lower targeted hits Josh was throwing. After getting half of Waleed's health was out, Jimmy raised his fists. Tag! I'm going in! He pulled Waleed out by the shoulder, who seemed to have forgotten that other people were even waiting to play. Jimmy and Josh went back and forth against each other, each managing to land a combo at some point, but it was slow going. Josh was clearly trying to go for environmental kills, while Jimmy stayed well away from those locations, making the match somewhat a stalemate. Josh's health lowered and lowered until finally it seemed like just one hit would do him in, and Jimmy lunged. Tag! Paul! Josh spun away from the machine in graceful pirouette, and Paul leaped into action. He pummeled his fist straight into Jimmy's face and unleashed a ferocious combo that Jimmy wasn't able to extract himself from. Tag! Caddy! Caddy jumped onto the machine, pulling himself away from Paul's attacks. They were both on their last leg of life, prowling around each other like wary tigers. One miss from either one of them meant the match, and possibly the tournament. I had no idea how they were keeping their cool. So, Caddy, I never knew you and Ian were such close friends. Moosey and I are not friends! He slammed his fists on the arcade cabinet, and in that moment of distraction, Paul pulled a swift kick to his ankles. Caddy crumpled like a pop balloon, and the match was won.
Yay!
Paul, you did it! I ran to hug him, only to find myself squished underneath Nick and Josh, who were hugging him as well. We formed a single four-human entity, a malforming bobbing up and down in front of the arcade cabinet. Yes, yes, wonderful, wonderful. If you don't mind, please relocate. This is turning into a bit of a jaffer jam. With a match called, the MC thanked the crowd and ushered everybody away from the machines. The day was free play for tournament players, but not for anybody else. And he seemed keen to get the arcade their money's worth. We peeled ourselves off of each other. So what do you say we play some games? I thought you'd never ask. Oh, this time they're gonna play some games. We probably wouldn't even have noticed the MC taking the stage to announce the winner if he hadn't cleared his throat like he had pneumonia. Silent B. When he was sure he had everybody's attention, he smiled charmingly. Ladies and gentlemen, the winner of this year's tournament is, unsurprisingly, the Normal Boots Club!
Yay!
Yes! I screamed and clapped and we swarmed on stage. The poor MC didn't know what hit him. As we celebrated, Paul grabbed the microphone. Please, everyone. I am proud to announce the newest edition of the Normal Boots Club. Our lovely campaign manager and most tolerant angel on the face of this earth. Woeful earth. Hana Mizuno. The boys cheered as Josh pulled me to the front of the stage. Nick said something around my shoulders, and I looked down to find a brand... damn. A brand new Normal Boots jacket over my standard uniform. I beamed at Paul, and he gave me a thumbs up and a wink. Yeah. Well then, we'll see you all again next year. Paul handed the microphone to the MC, then pulled me, Nick, and Josh in next to him. It's great that we won, really it is, but our weekend isn't over yet. No, it wasn't. Tomorrow was the day of the actual voting. The election results would be decided. Suddenly sobered, we decided to head back to the campus for a day of 10 attempts at the relaxation. One word throbbing through each of our minds. Tomorrow. My shoulders are hurting. Considering Asagao was such a rich school, I expected the voting process to be a little bit more technological. Instead, students lined up to grab paper ballots and turn them in. Ballots that were then tallied and handed to the teachers manning the voting booth. I also expected a sizable turnout, but apparently I thought wrong. The votes were all tallied up in almost no time, despite Miss Shizuka and Mr. Saitamo chortling at each other like childhood friends. Then the ballot was finally done. Hold on. The result was placed in a sealed envelope and given to the standing president to read before the auditorium and voters who stayed for the results. The standing president, meaning Paul. With a grin set to his jaw, he carefully peeled the envelope open. Your new acting president for this year is... He lifted the card to his face, squinting at what it said. Me! It's me! Paul looked up from the envelope, a smile of pure disbelief lighting his face.
Yeah!
I won! I'm president again! It wasn't much of a formal announcement, but judging from the student reactions, Paul could be forgiven just this once. A cheer rose up from the majority of the students, though a few made faces and sulked. I ran onto the stage and into Paul's arms, where he pulled me into a deep bear hug. Small popping noises went off above us, confetti sparkling from the ceiling. Paul pulled away from me and tucked a stray bit of hair behind my ear. Hana, I have a bit of a confession to make. As much as I love honesty, I wasn't being honest to you or to myself. As we spent more and more time together managing the campaign and messing ourselves silly, I found myself drawn to you. I thought it was just a matter of the election, that I wanted your skills or your aura. I knew Nick and Josh had a thing for you, and I didn't want to step on their toes, so I did everything I could do to convince myself my feelings weren't romantic, but I couldn't do that anymore. I followed you all on your date, because the idea of someone else going on a date with you was driving me insane. And now, Now I can finally admit that maybe it wasn't really the election that I wanted to win. Well, I mean, it was. Definitely it was. But even more than that, I wanted to win your heart.
Paul.
Paul, you suck so bad. Oh my god. You are such an idiot. Like, I find this cute and all. This is a really touching moment, but like after all this, well, it doesn't really touch me anymore. It's supposed to be a touching moment, but nope. I'm just really like conflicted, and I don't like him anymore. I'm just done with him. Paul, that is the single cheesiest thing I've ever heard you utter. Really? Is it? I swear I've said much worse things. Yes, you have! Cheese, like, craft style. I'm going to need a bread to put that on. It's so bad. Paul rolled his eyes. Uh-huh, I'm sure. I'm sure you don't like it one bit. Well, I didn't say that. I giggled helplessly and Paul lifted me into the air, planting a swift kiss on my lips. Now what are you going to do about it? Blushing furiously, I leaned in and kissed him back, right there in front of everybody. Oi oi, lovebird, stop it, you're gonna make us all sick. Paul and I untangled ourselves from each other, blushing furiously. What on earth are we going to do with you two? I swear, that was the most painful thing in the world to watch. You two are so obvious. Obvious? I'm not obvious. In any case. Josh slung his arm around Nick and Paul's necks, who slung their arms around mine. I reciprocated until we were in a football-like huddle. It seems like we were always a 4-person team. We just didn't know it. We're glad to have you on, Hana. I beamed. Hana, don't! The days I spent watching the three of them have fun without me were long gone. Now was I not only part of the Normal Boots Club, but also part of them. I'm so happy! Oh god, she is crying. What do we do? What do we do? Find some chocolate! And find a stuffed animal! Find anything comforting, quick! As the three of them darted around the stage like maniacs, I giggled. It was the start of a great year. The credits started rolling, and Paul paused the video. Well, what do you guys think? After months of work, the film club's first feature-length movie was complete, and the Normal Boots Club was the first privilege to see it. Paul, Nick, and Josh stared us down. We shifted uncomfortably. Well, I mean, it's not bad, especially not for a student film.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. I can see you put some thought into the cinematography, trying to make it the third character in the story.
All right.
We did. Yeah, you tried. That was utter shite. It wasn't that bad though, not for your first work. The three of them seemed to collapse in on themselves. It was as if Shane's words were a black hole and their souls all matter in the physical universe. You're only gonna go up from here. You never made a film before, and there's a lot of talent in here. Really, there is. Thanks, guys. I guess we'll just try harder. By the way, Hana, did you see Mai's latest column in the paper? As Paul, Nick, and Josh started the film club, they had to make some hard decisions. There was no way they'd be able to continue the continue column while also being in the Normal Boots Club, running a student council, and making films. When I told them about my secret ambition to be a writer, Paul's eyes lit up.
What?
Another aspiring writer? That's perfect! Absolutely perfect! Of course, Mike's personality translated particularly well to paper, coming through like a demented foghorn. Unfortunately, this meant people often had a bone to pick with her opinions and analyses. Yeah, she said Sonic... Yeah, she said Sonic Zoom actually wasn't that bad of a game. Are you sure she's all right in the head? She's not. If she says that, she's not. Sonic Zoom is a bad game. I could hear Mai shouting, "It is for the greater good. I serve my muse, and I live only for the truth," without even thinking about it. Honestly, I'm not too sure about that. Well, it was fun showing you guys this, but we're gonna have to get back to the council. Word has it that Jeff has some new ideas that could improve Asagao, and we don't want to keep him waiting. Paul wrapped an arm around my waist, and I grinned. Sure. Life at Asagao was never particularly easy, quiet, or calm, but it was, and would always be, fun. Best end. That was shit! No, in all honesty, it wasn't terrible. I enjoyed it. But Paul is... Paul is not a good boyfriend. Or at least, well... Paul is not a good almost boyfriend, I guess. I don't actually know how to explain it, but you saw how he acted. He did some really stupid stuff. But the story was fun. I will say it was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun to read. It was a lot of fun to voice act. So yeah, that's basically my opinion on this. Yeah. So after these nice credits are over, I will end the stream, and I will see you guys next time. And then we're gonna do the hidden routes. And if I'm not mistaken, one of the hidden routes has to be done twice to get the true ending. So we're gonna do that too. So basically, three runs in one stream. But those are pretty short, so there's nothing to worry about. So yeah, that's gonna be fun. And as I've said multiple times before, once those routes are over, once we finish this game, the next game that I'm gonna play on stream is Mother 3, which is an amazing game. Look forward to that. It will happen very soon. Thanks for playing. Well, thanks for creating. And now this final scene. Mr. Saitama sat in his desk chair, a contented sigh leaving his lips. It's always exciting to be involved in a good story. It was not the best story of what this game has to offer. Definitely not. He pulled out several thick tomes from the bottom of his desk, searching for one in particular. Finally, he discovered an old red leather-bound book. He tossed it on the top of his desk and took out a magnifying glass. The book itself was written in extremely fine print, and Mr. Saitomo's eyes were not the same as they once were. It took him ages to locate the passage he was searching for. When he finished reading it, he sat back, a slight smile on his lips. It's so sad, Momoka. I wish you could see her now. She'll become something great, I know. She could hardly not with her peculiar talent. I hope you're not angry. She couldn't help it. He sighed, fingering a silver scarf at the edge of his desk. At least MOPS isn't easy to seize. You departed and felt no pain. And you have left a great... MOPS, what is that? MOPS disease, or MOPS disease. Mendacious obfuscating pedant syndrome. Patient constructs a false identity, often for artistic and religious purposes. Over time, said identity merges with the original persona to the extent they become inseparable in the patient's mind. This pathology is masked by the patient's conviction that he must at all times remain in character to achieve his intended effect. Patient is thus aware of the fraud, yet unable to arrest the impulse. Huh. Yeah, that's a great legacy for your daughter to follow. But at school, I suppose the main character's powers have to come from somewhere. It would be unfair if they simply were born with more fortune than the rest of us. At some point, though, she will find out. She'll find a picture of herself when she was young, before her hair was pink, back when her mother was still alive, before she was a protagonist. He took out a pipe and lit it, dropping a small amount of tobacco inside. I only hope she does not blame herself. Mother of the protagonist syndrome. It's a cruel world we live in. Oh my fucking god!